Hey everyone, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, we're back in Florida. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Cruise Chat Live. I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel, and we book your cruises, your land, your luxury expedition. Our services are 100% free to you, and we come to you most Sundays for about an hour or so to answer all of your questions, or as many questions as we can, excuse me, about all things cruising. I'm still getting over a cold. Apparently going 60 miles an hour down a zip line in the rain was not the best idea in the world in terms of my health, but it was so worth it for the experience. So yeah, if you ever go up to Alaska, you gotta do the Icy Straight Point zip line if that is on your itinerary. Oh my goodness gracious, that was incredible. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Oh my goodness, oh wow, we got a bunch of people already coming in here. I see Eric. Hey Emily, how are you? It's been a while. We got Annette, excuse me, Kurt, Sue, Phil, Rick, Mimi, Benny's here, Stefan. Hey, Bills fan, how are you? Corey, how you doing, my friend? Carol, how are you? Scott's here. That back. How about that? All right. How about that? Okay. I think we're back. That was fun. I bumped the camera input on the YouTube side. So hi guys. Let's start again. Oh my goodness gracious. This is what happens when you go away for like 3 weeks. You totally screw up everything. So so yay. I fixed it. Yes, I fixed it. Hopefully this will be one of the last YouTubes that I have to do on this particular laptop. I'm getting a new MacBook, so hopefully everything will work much better on there. So thanks for sticking with us. So I'll try that again. I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. We book your land, cruises, luxury expedition, and we're here for about the next hour to answer your questions and all things cruising. Hi. Oh my goodness. So we just returned from about 17 days we were gone. We were in Seattle for 4 days, and then we had a 12-day cruise on the Oceania Riviera all through Alaska. One of the things that we learned during that cruise is, one, we loved being on the smaller ship. Two, to a T, pretty much all of our clients said they really loved the smaller ports. And these are the ports that you simply can't go to when you're on the big ships. We went to Wrangell, Klawock, Haines, Sitka. I think Sitka might take some of the larger ships, or was it Haines or Sitka? There was one of those two that we were at that the Joy was with us. Yeah, it might have been Sitka. But, you know, you get into these smaller ports and, oh my gosh, it absolutely changes everything about Alaska. It's more unspoiled, and it is much smaller, and so much fun to really see some of these smaller ports and doing that. So, yeah, it was super, super cool. So, and Eric, I think, said, yeah, Eric's getting ready for his 10-day cruise on the Norwegian Joy. We saw the Joy a couple of times on the cruise. We were kind of shadowing the Joy for a little bit. Then I think it was the Brilliance or the Radiance of the Seas. Radiance of the Seas, and the Seven Seas Explorer from Region.
And there was another Norwegian ship we ran into as well.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Because you thought it was going to be in the Joy import with us, and it was somebody else.
Oh, it was the Jewel or the Jade. I think it was the Jade. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So hi guys, how are you? Douglas rescued a cat and named it Cruise. I love that, Douglas. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. So we have questions about food on Oceania from multiple folks over here. So, you know, Oceania bills itself, their tagline is the finest cuisine at sea. The food is very good. This is our second time on Oceania. The first time we were on for, I think, also 12 days, something like that. We were on the Serena the first time, which is one of their smaller R-class 700 passenger ships. This time we were on the Oceania Riviera, which is a 1,200 passenger ship. And I will say the food was very good. Is it the finest cuisine at sea? No, I don't think it was. You know, I think
they're overselling themselves a bit.
They're overselling that.
I'm not saying it's not
finest cuisine at sea. It is very good food.
Yes.
Very good food, and it's all included, which is fabulous. Even if you go to the specialty restaurants, so you've got Italian, you've got a steakhouse, you've got red ginger, and Jacques French. All excellent food. Was it the finest food we've ever had on any cruise ship? No, it was very, very good.
I mean, there might have been some items that could.
Oh, absolutely. Overall,
like if you're and it also depends on what you're comparing it to.
Exactly.
If you've only cruised, say, MSC and Carnival, it's going to seem like the finest cuisine at sea.
It really will. Yeah.
But if you've cruised Explora, I don't know if it'll seem like the finest cuisine. It'll seem like pretty darn good.
It'll be good. Oh, it's really good cuisine. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, my goodness, if you actually went hungry on an Oceania ship, oh my God. Is it better than Celebrity? I would say yeah.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, overall, I would say yes. I mean, Celebrity specialty dining tend to be very good, but you do pay for that. Whereas on Oceania, it's all included. So I would say it's on definitely. Yeah, I would say it's better than Celebrity, but at times Celebrity will match up, especially in the specialty dining. They'll probably match up pretty close, but you're not paying anything extra for the Oceania food. So, and I'm probably behind on a bunch of questions here, especially on the YouTube side. So sorry. Carol says the zip line. You watched the zip line this morning. The view was spectacular. You bet the weather change is a bit of a shock. And I saw Kurt said something about it as well. So that Icy Straight zip line. The ride up on the gondola is scarier than the zip down, to be honest with you, if I'm being absolutely honest, because you're going up that gondola very slowly, and it keeps stopping at times because, you know, maybe there's some people that need extra assistance to get off or extra assistance to get on. So the thing stops, and, you know, you're looking down, and you're well over 100 feet off the ground. I mean, I really don't know how high off the ground I was, but it was a long way down.
And apparently there's bears down there.
Yeah, there's bears down there. It's one of the things that they tell you when you're getting ready to zip is that if you lose anything off your body, it's never going to be seen again because there are bears down there and nobody's going down to get it. So I would say the ride up was actually much scarier than the zip down. The zip down was just sit down and go very fast. And that's all it was. And I will say, if it's raining at all, put those goggles on. Put those goggles on, because it was like sleet hitting me in the face. And it was, get it rolling down. And all that sleet's just hitting you in the face. I mean, they said we were going to be doing about 60 miles an hour because the cables were wet, and the brakes really don't work in the rain. I don't even know what they're talking about with brakes. There really are no brakes. You just slam into it at the end. So definitely wear the goggles. But if you haven't seen the video yet, I've got it on TikTok. I just put up the widescreen 4K version up on YouTube. It is quite the ride going down. And I'm so glad I bought the new camera. I just bought a DJI Action 5 Pro, I think it's called, right before we went on this cruise. And I'm so glad I had that one instead of the GoPro. The picture is so much better than the GoPro did. So yeah, so I'm hoping you guys enjoy that. If you go to Icy Straight Point, I cannot recommend that enough. If you can do it, know that stop is hard. If you have bad back, I would not do that ride, because that stop, your neck. I mean, they tell you to lean back and they tell you to put your feet up before you hit, but that is a very hard hit at the end. Would I do it again? Yeah, that's my only regret is I didn't go right back up and do it a second time. I really should have, because the first time it's just so fast. I mean, everything happened so fast. You almost can't even really take it all in. So I wish I'd have gone right back up and done it the second time. So yeah. And if I'm missing questions, folks, I see there's a whole mess of questions on the YouTube side. So I'm trying to keep up with y'all. But if I miss some, feel free to throw them back in there. So Chuck, the topic is the same as every Sunday, cruise Q&A, but we are talking about Alaska since we just got back, but we're answering as many of your questions as we can. Ryan, you booked for, did I miss anybody above here that asked another question? Oh, and by the way, what cruise line do we recommend for Alaska? There's Diane asked that question. We don't recommend a cruise line for Alaska. We recommend itineraries. It depends on what you want to do and when you want to go. In Alaska, we really prefer the smaller ships. I like the ships that are around 2,000 or smaller passengers. When you get into these big ships, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 passengers, there's a lot of people to move off the ship, a lot of people to move back onto the ship. It was something that was very evident in Haynes. The Norwegian Joy was there with us. It was Haynes or Sitka? Maybe it was Sitka. Sitka. It definitely wasn't Haynes, because Joy can't get into Haynes. But in Sitka, I mean, when we, at the end of our excursion, we did a food tour and we came back, it was like mass chaos in the gift store. There was just so many people in there because they were all rushing to get what they wanted before they got back onto the Norwegian Joy.
Their port time was ending shortly thereafter.
Yeah, our port times were so much longer than the Joy. We were in port anywhere from 9 to 14 hours, depending on the port. And so when we came back to the Sitka port area, it was like mass chaos. It was like all these people trying to get in the store, and then suddenly they just rushed to get back onto the ship, and then suddenly it was quiet again. So so it's not so much a cruise line for Alaska, it's more the ship and the itinerary. And one of the things that we really learned on this particular cruise, because it's been a while since we've been to Alaska, was how enjoyable the small ports were. You know, Haynes is a small port. Klawock is the smallest port I think we've ever been to. And even Wrangell. Wrangell was one of the coolest places to spend the 4th of July, because that was quintessential small town America. In fact, Sue and Phil are here. They were hanging out on, they were hanging out for the lumberjack show and all of this stuff that was going on. It was so small town America. It was fabulous. So of the big ports that we went to, we did Ketchikan and Juneau, and we had a great time in Ketchikan. Finally did the lumberjack show. That is hilarious. I will be posting some videos about that. But Juneau and Ketchikan have both really blown up since the last time we've been there. They're kind of like the Caribbean of Alaska. You know, you got Diamonds International and all these diamond stores. And it's like, yeah, we see that in the Caribbean all the time. We kind of wanted something a little different up here in Alaska. And that's what we got in Haynes and Sitka, certainly Klawock and Wrangell. I mean, they were just small town Alaska. That's all they were. There weren't diamond stores everywhere. Sitka has certainly more stuff because they are a bigger port, but they were more like what Juneau and Ketchikan used to be when we first started going to Alaska. So we did learn that. So Sue and Phil, they have a great point. The Terrace Cafe, which is the buffet on Oceana, it was worlds away from the buffet on Princess. The way the tables were set, I mean, it looked like a dining room. It did not look like a buffet. The food was, for the most part, amazing in there, especially when they did their marketplace meals, which is where they bring on local food. And they brought on a ton of salmon and halibut in Alaska. Like they were actually like filleting the fish right there. They had the whole fish and they were filleting it and everything right there in the buffet and then grilling it right up. It was freaking amazing. So I love Diabetic. He imagines a den of bears dressed in lost hats and scarves holding cameras and cell phones. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly. And in fact, I had a beanie on. And, you know, first thing they said is if you're wearing any kind of beanies or hats, just take them off. He said they will go away. So if you notice the video of me, it's raining and I don't have anything on my head. That's because they warned us. And sure enough, man, that breeze hits you. And boy, does it hit you. So, yeah, I'm sure there is probably a black market going on with the bears down there trading the hats and the phones and all of that. Yeah, yeah. So that was hilarious. You know. Small children, maybe. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if I missed anything up here. Hi, if I haven't said hi to you, hello. Good to see everybody. Did Oceana, Stefan wants to know, did Oceana have good enrichment and port talks for Alaska? Actually, they did. We didn't see, I only saw parts of a few of them, but not only did they have really good enrichment talks, she was hilarious. Her name was Glow or something like that. She was hilarious. I actually walked in on 2 of her other talks that had nothing to do with Alaska that were flipping hilarious. So yeah, they did have really, really good enrichment up there in Alaska as well. But if you're going to Alaska, it is less about the cruise line and more about the itinerary that you're going on. Big E wants to know best excursion in Halifax. Have we even really?
That's on my agenda to start really digging into because we're only, let's see, 82 days away from that cruise. So
yeah, so
I need to start figuring that out.
Yeah, and with Halifax and New Brunswick, we haven't really had anybody ask us do like the research excursion for them. Most of our clients are going off and doing their own research.
I mean, Peggy's Cove is usually the big one people do. But I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. Yeah,
so we're going to be on Virgin Voyages, the Brilliant Lady, and we happen to have very, very late stops in Nova Scotia, St. John, New Brunswick, and in Charleston, South Carolina. We can actually have dinner on land because we're going to be staying so late. So we really haven't looked into it. So if anybody has some ideas for Halifax, certainly throw them in for Big E here. If you're watching on YouTube or TikTok, certainly throw in some suggestions. Sue and Phil loved the ease of getting on and off the ship, and the fact that you had no trouble arriving 5 minutes from the start of a show was great too. Yeah, that was the other thing about the theater. You could just show up.
And even though we had more tender ports than we originally had scheduled, it was really not a big deal.
No, the only big deal about the tenders was I didn't like the boats themselves. The way they had the seating configurations was one of the worst I've seen on any of the lifeboats, because we've done quite a few tenders over 20 years. And just the seating configuration on those boats, I was going to send a note to my to my rep. I mean, those boats are very expensive, so it's not like they're going to replace them. But the seating configuration was not the most conducive. So, Ryan, you're booked on Norwegian Aqua in November, first time on NCL. Any things you should know? Well, first of all, I've got a whole playlist on the Norwegian Aqua right here on TikTok. I've got most of my videos up, not all of them, but I got most of my videos up. The thing that impressed me, number one, the Aqua is a beautiful ship, absolutely beautiful ship. You do need to line up about an hour early for the Prince show and about an hour early for the Fleetwood Mac show. The Prince show, well worth waiting in line for an hour for. If you're a fan of Fleetwood Mac, that show is also well worth standing in line for an hour for to get in there. I thought the food quality was better than our previous Norwegian experiences on the Norwegian Aqua. In particular, we loved the Food Republic food hall, which is included with your cruise fare. Absolutely loved it.
No, not Food Republic, the Indulge.
The Indulge food hall. The Indulge Food Hall. Right. It's like Food Republic. So I got confused there. But we really enjoyed it. What you will find is that for breakfast, it's just your standard breakfast. But then lunch and dinner have different offerings. So make sure that you check it out for both lunch and dinner, especially if you want to have like the really good Indian food and the naan. That's at dinner time. That's when they serve that. I wasn't happy with just the 2 elevators. They could have used a 3rd elevator bank, which would have been really, really nice.
I mean, they have a 3rd elevator bank, but it's only for the
Haven. Yeah. And then the pools were overrun with children on our cruise. They had these absolutely stunning, infinity pools and seating on deck 8. Deck 8 kind of becomes the second pool deck on the ship because of the way they have it configured. But we really couldn't enjoy it because it was just completely overrun with children. So while it's absolutely beautiful to sit out on deck 8, we did not partake in any of the pool areas up there. I thought the mini golf was not well set up at all. But overall, we had a very good time.
Aqua slide coaster.
Aqua slide coaster, man. I could have ridden that all day, every day. That was a really fun ride. Not near as intense as what you think it's going to be. No. The most intense part is the launch, and then after that, it's just a water slide. Really fun. The one thing that did impress me a lot was the more at sea drinks package. Actually, was really, really nice. It had a lot more than I thought it would. So that impressed me more, and now that I got a chance to use it.
Although I have heard that wine drinkers are less impressed.
Yeah,
but the one thing to be aware of, if on Norwegian in general, if you're coming from other cruise lines, is that specialty coffee and bottled water is not included in the drink package.
Nope, it is not.
So just be aware, unlike almost all the other cruise lines.
Yep.
That's different.
And also, if you have a Starbucks card, like a Starbucks account, it works on the ship. There's an actual, honest to goodness Starbucks on the Norwegian Aqua. And if you have a Starbucks account, with money on your card, you can actually pay for your coffee drinks.
Although I will give you my personal warning, load your card up before you get on the ship, because if you have auto reload set to happen and it auto reloads while you're on the ship, my account got blocked for suspicious activity for like a week till they could get it all cleared up.
The reason for that is because the Wi-Fi is connected like in Bermuda or something like that.
So just make sure you load up enough money that will not happen while you're on the ship.
Yes. SL, I'll get you in a second. Rick is asking, you're booked in Alaska in September. Should you expect terrible weather? You should expect terrible weather no matter when you go to Alaska. You got to be prepared for the rain. When we went up there, it was pouring down rain at our first stop in Ketchikan. I mean, it was cold. It was rainy. Were we miserable? No, because I told my whole group, it's like, I think we had 32, 36 people with us. I said, get ready for the rain. And so we all had our rain parkas on. We had all that. And it just so happened that we picked the perfect excursion for that one, which was the lumberjack show. So we were undercover. But you should always expect it to be cold and rainy in Alaska. And when it's not, celebrate. Like I just saw Tony was in Ketchikan with Don last week. So that was like 2 weeks after we were there. Beautiful sunny day. We had a terrible rainy day. So you just never know in Alaska. In September, it's going to start cooling off again. So you're watching me on TikTok. I do have that 3-in-1 jacket video on TikTok. It'll be on YouTube soon, where I show you the 3-in-1 jacket that we take. It's one jacket that you can wear as a windbreaker or rain slicker. You can wear it as just a warm jacket, or you put the whole thing together and you basically have a winter jacket that keeps you dry. So you should always be ready for rain in Alaska. It really doesn't matter what time of year you go to. So SL has a great question. Is it a general rule that the smaller ships will visit better quality of life ports? You hope that makes sense. And I think what you're saying is in general, like when the ships go to the smaller ports, it is more unspoiled and it is more cultural than it is when you go, say, like Ketchikan, Juneau. Those were very commercial ports in Alaska. Nothing wrong with them. Lots of great things to do. But it is a lot like going to these big Caribbean ports with the diamond shop and this shop. And you see the same thing that you see in the Caribbean. Whereas when we went to Wrangell, we were in an Alaska town and there was absolutely nothing that had anything to do with Diamonds International or any of that. It was the local grocery store. It was the local, sure, they had, some of the local shops have now skewed over towards the cruise line, but the magnet, I buy magnets now in every port. And the magnet that I bought in Wrangell was one that the woman made. It was a really cool leather magnet that she made. In Klawock, that was like the coolest excursion I think that we did the entire time we were there. And it was such a simple one. It was one called The Taste of Kloak, and it was a whole family. So they took us to this wooded area where they had these plastic bubbles set up because, again, it rains a lot. On that day, it was a beautiful sunny morning.
It is a rainforest.
Yeah, it's in a rainforest. And we were right next to this bubbling creek. And first they started off with 12 fresh oysters that they harvested. So I think it was one of the sisters. She does the whole oyster farming. It was the nephew who led us down the path to where we were going. His mom was the one who served us the next 2 courses. These were all paired with wine. It was like 10 of us, I think. There's only 10 of us in the woods. And it was such a quiet, peaceful. Yeah. We were only 5, maybe 10 minutes from the port because it's such a small port. There's only one ship that can come in. And I think the Oceania Riviera, being 1,200 passengers, was one of the largest ships that can actually get there. So that was absolutely beautiful, experiencing that and just having that little one-on-one. Now there were some folks in our group who went to the towns. There's Craig and there's Kloak. There's literally nothing there. If you are going to Kloak, you need to book an excursion if you really want to see something. Don't bother going to town. They are such small. They're basically a grocery store, a liquor store, and a few. There's like really nothing to see there because it is completely undeveloped in Kloak, which I absolutely love. So you will get to experience completely different things, SL, when you're on these smaller ships, especially when you get down to around 1,000 passengers or smaller. It's one of the things like Azamara. Azamara has some of the best itineraries in the industry, hands down. And they really take advantage of the fact that they only have a 30,000 gross ton ship. It's a very small ship. They can send her up rivers, which is phenomenal. Oceania can do the same thing because they've also got them. Ponan, Paul Gagan, or Gazin. I got to ask him how to actually say that. But when you get on some of these smaller ships, that's what you get. The big ship just simply can't, or they won't. Like a Kloak. Well, number one, the ship can't get there. Number two, they can't support 4,000 people. It'd just be way too many people coming in. So I don't know if it's a better quality of life, but it's certainly a different experience than what you're going to get on the big ship that can only, I see some people complaining in some of the forums like, God, I wish Royal Caribbean would go to other ports. I wish Carnival would go to other ports. I wish Norwegian would go to other ports. They do go to other ports. You just got to get on their smaller ships. But even their smaller ships in some cases still can't get to like a Kloak, or they can't get to a Wrangell or something like that. So yeah, I think the smaller ships really open up a lot of different things to you. Rick wants to know, how was the red ginger? You're going to try it when you go on the Allura. I think it was still outstanding. Yeah. That's our second time.
One of my favorite dinners.
Yeah, it was one of our favorite dinners on the ship. I really enjoyed that one. I also enjoyed the steakhouse, the Polo Grill. I thought the Polo Grill was pretty good.
Polo Grill, if I was doing it, I don't eat meat. I had the lobster tail, which was okay.
It was overcooked.
But if I was going back, I would for my main dish, I would have just sides, because their sides were really amazing good. There. I will give it that. Really their good. Sides were really good, and there was about 5 more I wanted to try, but I knew it'd be too much food.
And you're going to be on the Allura, which has some new restaurants on there that look really, really interesting that I want to try out.
And I think the Allura is one of the ones where they're testing some new entrees for the red ginger. I think the Vista and the Allura, they're testing some new entrees.
Diane wants to know, is 4 days too long for Seattle? No, I don't think so.
We were there 3, and I think there was at least 3 more days of stuff we could have done.
Yeah, like, we stayed 3 before the cruise, and then we stayed 1 after, and I'm really glad we tacked on that 1 after. So technically, we did stay 4 days. Okay. In fact, the one thing we didn't get to do with the underground tour, because we were just Alaska, 8 ports in 12 days is somewhat exhausting. So we were like done when we got back to Seattle. Like, we're just going to relax. And we ended up, it was lovely on the last day because we got to meet some friends that we haven't seen since a Panama Canal cruise. We actually met them on the Panama Canal cruise. So we hung out with them in the morning. And then for dinner, we got to hang out with DCL duo, Sam and Brian. I've become friends with them, but never met them. So we had dinner at Elliot's Oyster House. Oh my God, they are so much fun. I cannot wait. I really want to cruise with them one day. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to DCL Duo, like Disney Cruise Line, DCL Duo, they are just phenomenal people, and they do a lot of great live streams. So yeah. So Kelly, you're going to on the Carnival Sunrise. Have a great time. User 173, you're going on the Celebrity Constellation out of Tampa. Your first time on Celebrity. So that is a great ship. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the YouTube side. That is the ship that we are going to Italy with in October of next year. So October 23rd through November 2nd. That is a Millennium class ship. We've never been on one of those. That is the smaller Celebrity class, and we actually saw the Summit up in Alaska. So we got a good look at her. That's one of her sisters. We are so excited to go on that class of ship. We have sent quite a few clients, the Summit, the Connie, the Infinity. The Infinity's having a few problems right now, but they've all come back absolutely loving that class of ship. So when it came to our Italy trip, we were looking at multiple things. I wanted to do a smaller ship. We almost did Azamara, but then we saw this Celebrity Constellation, which is going to start in Ravenna. It's going to come around to Civitavecchia. Where are we going? We're going to Split, Dubrovnik, Kotor, Messina, Salerno, Portofino, La Spezia, and then it'll end up in Civitavecchia. That's October 23rd through November 2nd, 2026. But what's really cool about this cruise, the back-to-back, the next cruise is a transatlantic crossing to San Juan from Civitavecchia. So Rebecca and I are going to be on the cruise for the entire 25 days. And I think we've got 2 other couples in our group who are going to stay on for the entire 25 days as well. So we're very excited to get on the Celebrity Constellation. It was great. I'm so excited for you to go on there. So yeah, that's going to be absolutely awesome. Ryan says zipline video is amazing. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that.
Oh, that was just Walter.
Yeah. Rebecca was nervous just because of that walk, but then I found out, as you see in the video, that they will actually drive you down. But I have a feeling the stop would have hurt Rebecca, so
yeah,
that would not have been a good thing for her. That
not.
stop. So I'm really glad she didn't do it. I knew the stop was going to be somewhat brutal. I didn't realize it was going to be quite that brutal, but I would have done it again. I totally would have done it again. Sue and Phil are saying they spent the whole day of the 4th of July in Wrangell. They thoroughly enjoyed the small town feel. Great locals taking part in a lumberjack contest. Had a really cute parade. I missed a parade, but I heard the parade was phenomenal. I've never seen so much silly string. I didn't know silly string was still a thing. There was silly string everywhere, and it was like a black market going on. Kids selling silly string to each other. It was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. Databetic is saying the slide, that launch on the slide coaster on the Norwegian Aqua is pretty wild. And
one thing I will tell you, wear some sort of footwear that you can get wet, because they will allow you to have sandals or water shoes on the thing on the Aqua coaster, because when you come off of it, the decking gets very slippery, and I did fall.
Yeah. So with the Aqua slide coaster, you can actually wear shoes all the way down to the coaster. There are certain shoes that they're like sandals or water shoes. You can keep them on during the ride. But even if you have a pair of sneakers for the Aqua slide coaster, you can wear the sneakers all the way down to the coaster and then take them off, and they'll just put them in a little holder there while you're on the ride. The deck is extremely hot. You definitely want to have some shoes on as you go down there.
Don't make the mistake. When I fell, we wore stuff down to there and we put them, but then we were going right back on and figured, I don't need to put my shoes on to go right back around and come back on the slide. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So
Rick said the old fashions on the Aqua were great, especially in the whiskey bar. If you're going on the Norwegian Aqua and you want a good old fashioned, go down to the whiskey bar. I can't remember her name, but there was a woman down there. She was the best bartender on the entire ship. There was another guy down there working in the whiskey bar. He didn't make near as good old fashioned. So Diane wants to know if the Allura with Oceana. Yes, the Allura is the new ship from Oceania. I don't know if anybody else has an Allura. I don't think they do. But yeah, that it's not out yet. It's just about to come out. G said your wife and you are going on to Margaritaville Islander August 31st through the 7th of September. First time on Margaritaville. I'll tell you what, that is a great product. I don't recommend the Paradise at all, but the Islander is a great product. I'm really excited for this new ship because it's going to be bigger. going to be very interesting. And the word is either going to go out of Mobile or Galveston. That's the early speculation. Nothing official. But the Margaritaville Islander is really, really a fun product, and they are finally working on the back end for us travel agents so we can better support the brand. So hopefully that is coming soon. Stefan wants to know, when going to Alaska for the first time, are the regular ports such as Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan better, or would you recommend the smaller anyway? I think they're all good. Again, when it comes to Alaska, it is all about the ports. It's all about the itinerary. Where do you want to go? Doesn't matter what I think. Just know that, Ketchikan, Skagway, Juneau, they have really developed up into, the tourism industry. There's nothing bad about that. But at the same time, like when we were in Juneau, there were 6 ships. There were 4 bigger ones. There were 3 bigger ones. Then there was the Oceania Riviera, and then there were 2 like National Geographic kind of ships. So it's not like we had 6 big ships, but we did have 6 ships in port. It's a lot. But Juneau has excellent whale watching. Ketchikan has the lumberjack show, and Gary Benbridge was absolutely right. It's cheesy, it's corny, it's a lot of fun, but dang, are those guys talented? When they make it look so easy, and it's just because they are so talented. So no, I mean, you should not let the fact that these ports are a little bit more overdeveloped sway you from not going to them. They're still great ports, and there's still a lot of great things to do.
Do an excursion. Don't just
go
walk around town.
And we were told by multiple folks that some of the whale watching in Sitka and Icy Straight Point was almost better than it was in Juneau. And that may also be because there were so many boats in Juneau. There were a lot of boats in Juneau doing whale watching. So they were saying that, in fact, one of our clients, Colette, I can't remember if it was Sitka or Haynes, where she said humpback literally breached right in front of the boat. Nobody got a picture of it because they were all so stunned, but it literally breached right in front of the boat and freaked them all out. So hey, Amanda, I'm glad you're home. Yay.
And don't worry, Silver Librarian, I fall all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not really unusual.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly coordinated.
Yeah, Silver Librarian's asking about vegetarian options for the cruise. And one of the things that Sue and Phil noted on the YouTube side is that they actually received a letter in their cabin during embarkation asking to call the dining rep to talk about plant-based dining. So, and they appreciated the extra effort. So that's something that Oceana did. If we note that you're plant-based, they actually want to talk to you about it.
And they do tend to, on the menus, they do tend to mark things fairly well, whether it's vegetarian or vegan. Mm-hmm. And it's not as well marked in the buffet, but you can always ask people, and they will, either they'll know or they'll find out for you.
Right.
But they did have most cruise lines these days have a lot for vegetarians, and they're getting better for vegans.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, if you have real concerns, make sure you get it noted on your thing. And even if they don't send you a letter the first day, go talk to the head of dining or whoever they have talking about dining, and let them know what you need.
Yeah. And so the Oceana, really, Oceana Explorer, all the small cruise lines do a really good job with, understanding your needs, most of the mainstream as well. And that can vary ship to ship just because it's all up to the executive chefs and their team.
And one thing particularly with the mainstream to note is that even if you have it marked on your, pre-cruise that you have an allergy or you have a dietary preference, always go talk to the dining staff the first day, just to reconfirm everything. And if you need to get special menus or they need to give the menus in advance so you can get things altered, always go talk to them the first day, in addition to having it noted beforehand, because sometimes information gets mislaid or not well conveyed. Just always double check.
And before we go any further, I see it's the top of the hour, so I'm just going to remind you all that I am Walter with Where's Walter Travel. We book cruises, land, luxury, expedition. Our services are 100% free to you. We do not charge any sort of a planning fee or a service fee. We don't even charge a cancellation fee. So our services are literally 100% free to you. You can find us at where'swaltertravel.com. If you're watching us, wherever you're watching us right now, there are links in the description or in my profile. You can set up a time to hop on a chat. We get on a phone call, and then Rebecca and I do a little bit of research, and we help you plan your vacation. So we can help you in any way. Certainly do reach out. Where's waltertravel.com. I'll also mention that on the screens on YouTube, I do have our Virgin Voyages group cruise on there for a reason. This is a 13-night cruise from Quebec to Miami, October 3rd through the 16th of this year. So this is a traditional Canada New England cruise. We will be starting in Quebec. We'll go to St. John's, New Brunswick, and Halifax, where we will have late night stays. So you can actually have dinner on land if you'd like to, or you can do multiple excursion. We'll then go to Eastport, Maine, and Boston, Massachusetts. Then we will head down the Atlantic seaboard, where we will stop in at Charleston, South Carolina. Again, this will be a late night stop. You can actually have dinner in Charleston if you'd like, before we make our way into Miami at the end of 13 nights. The reason why I'm bringing this up right now, this is a 13-night cruise that is currently priced lower than most 7-night cruises. You can get on a balcony with a hammock for plus or minus $3,000 right now for the stateroom, not per person, for the stateroom. You can get a central sea terrace. I want to say it's around $3,500 for the stateroom. This is 13 nights. This is all meals included, gratuities included, basic Wi-Fi is included, and the soft drinks, all the Coca-Cola products, those are included. Those 4 items are included in the cruise fare. You can also do the group exercise classes, including that amazing 80s workout that they do, which is a combination Richard Simmons and Jane Fonda. It's absolutely hilarious. So I've got that on the screen. The prices have been coming down on this one. So if you have been wanting to explore Virgin Voyages, or maybe you've been wanting to do a Canada New England cruise that has a little different flair, it's going to come all the way down to Miami. I don't know how long they're going to hold these prices, but the prices are absolutely stonking ridiculous right now. So if you'd like to join us, again, October 3rd through the 16th of 2025, that's this year, brand new Virgin Voyages Brilliant Lady is going to be like her 5th cruise sailing from Quebec down to Miami. You can get on this ship in a balcony plus or minus $3,000 for 2 people. That's the full price of the stateroom. It's insane. So certainly do reach out. Now, back to the questions. Let's see. Duo wants to know, do cruises have VIP hosts? They have concierges. You have butlers. You do have
this all depends on the type of stateroom you're in.
Yeah, the type of state. Well, number one, it depends on the cruise line.
Yeah.
Right. So like Carnival, I don't even know if they have a concierge. Maybe they do. But it depends on the cruise line you're going on. It depends on the itinerary you're going on. And of course, it depends on the level of the stateroom that you book. So the answer is they're not called VIP hosts. They're called concierges. You have butlers. You have havens. You have retreats. So there's different names for it, but they do have people. Who would be kind of a VIP person. So yes. Jill, you have a call scheduled with us on Friday. I cannot wait to chat with you. Sue and Phil are saying that they went to visit John Rowan Jr. in Klawock. He is the master totem carver. He's recreating all the totems in the local park, which, by the way, they say they have the most totems in one park in all of Alaska, and there's supposed to be 21. There's only 20 right now because one needs to be fixed. But again, a really cool thing that you could do in a small port. Frank wants to know, was 12 days too long in Alaska? No, not even long enough. There are cruises that are 14 days from Holland America. And there are cruise tours that run up to 17 days. So no, 12 days. The thing of it is, it's not just 12 days. We went to 8 different ports. That was the cool thing about it. You know, we went to your big traditional ports. We went to Juneau and Ketchikan. But then we went to Icy Straight Point and Klawock and Haines and Sitka and Wrangell. Completely different experiences. So that's the thing. Alaska, you have to remember, Alaska is the size of the United States. You stack it up right in the middle of the country, and it's the same height. It's a massive state with so many different things to do. So no, I don't think it was too long. I would have loved to have stayed, maybe even a couple of more days. I would love to go up, towards Dutch Harbor, which is where that Holland America cruise actually goes up to Dutch Harbor. And then, tacking on the 3 days in Seattle in the beginning was really cool because we got to do a harbor tour, a canal tour. We did a food tour. We did a coffee tour, got to eat so much good food. Got to drink so much good coffee. And then on the last day, so we technically spent 4 days in Seattle. So definitely, if you're going up there, like if you're going into Vancouver, spend time in Vancouver. If you're going to Seattle, spend time in Seattle. So yeah. Barb just got back from the British Isles cruise on the Regal Princess. What a lovely ship. You kissed the Blarney Stone. So you got yourself upside down and kissed that stone. That's amazing. Sounds like you had a great time. I love it. I love it. Hey, Matt, how are you? Good to see you. What hotel did we stay at in Seattle? So we stayed at 2 different hotels in Seattle. For the 3 nights before the cruise, we stayed at a classic, really cool hotel. Historic, actually. Yeah, she's getting close to 100 years now. The Mayflower Park Hotel. Absolutely loved the location. It was in a perfect location. You walk one direction, about 4 blocks or so, you're at Pike Place Market. And then you could go in the other direction, and there was, shopping districts and all this other stuff. Really loved the Mayflower Park Hotel. On the way back for that one night after the cruise, we stayed at Citizen M in Pioneer Square. And it was to try it because, now what we're doing, now that we're travel agents, we don't necessarily stay at the hotels that we would typically stay in. We're now just booking all kinds of different hotels so we can try them out. And Citizen M is one that comes up a lot when we're looking at hotels for our clients.
And they're all over, at least the
they're
US.
Everywhere. And what we found is basically a cruise cabin. It was like walking into a cruise ship. It really was. And we really wanted to find out what it was really like because their beds are jammed into one end of the room. So you can't step out to the side of the bed.
There's only one
side
open
exposed.
side.
So what I learned was I don't like it. I would not book a Citizen M again. The bathroom door did not close all the way. There was like a 1-inch gap on the bathroom door because there was this fancy glass door, so it didn't close. But the hotel itself was fine. The location was fine. It was in Pioneer Square.
You had the fastest internet you've had.
Oh my God,
forever.
the internet was like as fast as it is here at home. So yeah, the internet was fabulous. But I would not personally book myself in a Citizen M again. But now we know that if clients are asking about it, we can tell them, like, honestly, what is it like? And then they can make their own decision.
And I would say that if you're going solo and you don't have to worry about having 2 open sides to a bed,
yeah,
that's not a problem. Or if you're young enough that you don't get up in the middle of the night,
yeah,
wouldn't be a problem. I mean, we did turn ourselves so that basically we scooched off because it's a king size bed and neither of us are, hugely tall. So it was perfectly fine to sleep the wrong way on the bed. But it's I think meant for people who have less need to get out of bed in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So
but it was a lovely hotel. I mean,
beautiful hotel.
Check-in was a breeze. Once I figured out the system, check-out was a breeze.
Yeah.
Internet was great.
Hotel. It's not one that I would personally book again in the future. I'm sure plenty of my clients will, and some of my clients have. But that's our thing now. Whenever we travel, if there's a certain type of hotel that we've always booked, we tend not to book that because we just want to try other things, and then we can give you guys firsthand experience. Well, this is what it was really like in that hotel. So, like we've got 2 really cool hotels coming up in Montreal and Quebec that we'll talk about at some point. So, SL says the taste of tour with the family sounds amazing in Cloac. Just shows the difference between what's possible with small ship ports. And also keep in mind, things like that can be available in the larger ports too. Sometimes you have to seek them out. Like the food tour that we did in Sitka, that was actually through the cruise line, but it was so well done by this company. And one of the coolest things they did, now Sitka has a lot of food trucks. It's like this huge food truck culture there. And instead of taking us from food truck to food truck to food truck to food truck, they did a clever thing where they have an agreement with this glass museum. So they just had a big table in a glass museum. And I want to say we tried 6 or 7 things.
Yeah, a lot.
Right there. And she would say, okay, this is from this food truck, and this is what it is. And she'd tell us the whole history of the truck and who the person was. And that was great because we did walk. I think overall we tried, I want to say, a dozen things throughout the food tour. A few places we actually walked to and went to the restaurant, but then that whole food truck thing. So yes, that was a very unique experience with Klawock. But you can find those kinds of things in some of the bigger ports too. Sometimes you have to look. Sometimes you got to go outside the cruise line to find those things. But it was absolutely, I mean, meeting the nephew, doing the whole family. That was a very special tour. It truly was. And that is something, that particular type of a tour, I think you could only find it in Klawock. So yeah, that was kind of, I did learn, I was calling it Klawock before we went, but it's Klawock is how you actually say it. So, Mark wants to know, have I ever dealt with a cruise voucher you earn run from MGM Rewards? I have absolutely no idea how those work. You probably have to
some
contact.
sort of casino reward.
Yeah,
thing.
you're just going to have to contact. I do not do anything with casinos or casino offers. Just to be very bluntly honest, we make usually 0 commission from those. So we avoid, so if you have a casino offer, we just tell you to go ahead and call the casino department and work with them. So, hey, Teet, how are you? I hope the grocery shopping is going well. Thank you, Scott, for reminding folks to hit the like. I hope so. SL says the Lumberjack show sounds like a great thing for a wet or any day in Ketchikan. I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. I kind of avoided it because I thought, well, that's really stupid. But no, it's actually a lot of fun. I'm so glad Gary, could I even reach out to him? I'm very fortunate that we've developed a friendship. I've gotten to know Gary Bembridge quite well. I'm really looking forward to cruising with him one of these days, working on it. But I was like, Gary, is it really? He's like, yeah, actually, it's a lot of fun. It's cheesy, it's hokey, but it's fun. And in this case, it was dry because it was raining that day and we were undercover. So it was great.
Well, we did want to try the Alaska Crepe Company there, but because that's just a walk-up window, we ended up going to a different restaurant for seafood.
Wow. The really Alaska good. Fish Company or something like that. Oh God, it was so good. It was
right next to the Lumberjack
right next
show.
Yeah. So we walked from a Lumberjack show all the way over to the crepe place and then all the way back to the Lumberjack show. It's funny. But if you want to see the crepes and how they are, Tony had a nice day. Tony at Lalita Loca. He had a beautiful day. So he actually got, I think, a salmon crepe that looked amazing. And that's probably what we would have gotten, but it was cold. It was rainy. We just wanted to be inside. Yeah.
Inside, dry and warm.
So, yeah. Diabetic is asking, do some cruise lines have genies? That would be the Royal Suite class on Royal Caribbean. Yeah, they don't call them butlers, they call them genies. So yeah, you can get the genie as well. Alex, you should come on the October cruise. I'll tell you, that October cruise right now on Virgin Voyages, that's pricing like back when they first launched. It is insane how much it has come down. And I will say that typically Virgin Voyages, once we're past final payment, that's it. Everybody's locked in.
Most cruise lines.
Yeah, most cruise lines, you're locked in. And all of us, including ourselves, we had paid much more for this cruise because that's what the rates were. But because of my relationship with Virgin Voyages, I reached out and I asked, is there anything we can do? And they didn't give us the full adjustment to what the current price is, but they gave us a little bit of an adjustment, which was very kind of them. It is one of the advantages of being, a top 100 sales agent with Virgin Voyages. We sell a lot of Virgin Voyages, and the cruise line kind of sells itself. It's such a great product, So, yeah. Let's see. Rick is asking, do we have the hotel list for the Philly cruise with Tony and Jenny? Yes, the email went out yesterday. So if you have not received it, now what I did was, this is all coming out through Constant Contact because there's like 200 of y'all. So I can't just send like a blanket email that'll ding us. So I sent it to everybody through Constant Contact, and I have had a few people who were on the list who unsubscribed. So if you unsubscribed to the list, you probably did not get the email, but it went out yesterday with all the details on the 2 hotels in Philadelphia. There's a Club Quarters Rittenhouse and the Motto by Hilton Rittenhouse are the 2 hotels that we've selected. And you have the option to just book them yourselves or book them through us. We worked for 4 months with 2 of our vendors trying to get group rates. And when they finally came back with the group rates, they were like $150 more than if you just book it yourself. And I was like, Why would I do that? So we've been encouraging people, you can go ahead and book. I can book it for you as well, but you can also just book it yourself. So Rick, if you didn't get the email, just shoot me an email and I will send it back. I will send you the link. So yeah. Right. Sue and Phil stayed at the Palladium. It was great. I think folks stayed at like 4 or 5 different hotels in Seattle, and I didn't hear a complaint about any of them. So that was great.
And
That
even
is
our
great.
complaints about a Citizen M, it's more a personal thing than
It
the
is.
hotel.
And
The
Alex
hotel
is
was
saying that
lovely.
he loves it. Alex is a solo traveler. He
Yeah.
said it feels like Virgin Voyages. I think that's a great way to describe
Yeah.
it. That's what the room felt like. It felt like a Virgin
And if
Voyages
I was
stateroom.
solo, it would be,
Mhm.
if we were not,
Best Wi-Fi ever from a hotel. I could not get over how fast the Wi-Fi was in there.
And
So
although one thing I
Yeah.
will say about Seattle, if you're someone who's not been in a big city in a long time, there is a lot of homeless people.
there are a lot of homeless.
I
and
mean, it was not
unfortunately,
really a problem.
some
but
of them clearly have some mental issues, and they can be somewhat aggressive. And it was a little frightening at times with a couple of folks who were rather aggressive and loud, right near us or approaching us.
I mean, not to
But-
us personally, but
But certainly I would not want to walk around by myself in Seattle in the evening. It's better to walk around with a few folks. I will say that.
and
So,
always
what a
stick to
beautiful city.
well-lit areas.
yeah,
But
well-lit
it
area.
was, it's been a while since we've been in the downtown of a big major
Mhm.
city. So it was a little
Yeah,
surprising.
yeah,
Not surprising, but it was,
right.
the housing costs in
right.
Seattle are outrageous. So
So Darla, thank you for the kind words. You want to book with us because we've actually cruised on multiple ships and we go to hotels and we can give real recommendations. To date, we have been on 13 different cruise lines now. Even before we became travel agents, there's been this whole big blow up with Carnival and their loyalty program. Everybody wants to know what I think. Even before we became travel agents, we had already sailed on 9 different cruise lines. I am all about the cruise experience. I don't care about loyalty programs. I really don't, because they're all going to change at some point. And when you look at what you're actually getting for the loyalty program, the best one right out of the gates is actually MSC, because they give you a 5 to 10% discount, like literally right on your first cruise. So that's a good deal. But when you look at the perks that they're actually giving you, and then how much those perks would cost for you just to simply pay for them on each individual cruise, you got to spend a lot of money to get to those perks. So I've always been about the ships and the itineraries. There are well over 300 cruise ships out there. I think we're pushing 350 ocean ships alone, and then that many or more river ships. So I've always been about the experiences. And if I could, I would sail on every freaking ship that's out there, except the Paradise. I'm not going to go on Paradise. But I just, I've always been about that. I think it's kind of a shame to limit yourself to, 20 ships, 22 ships, 27 ships, however many ships that particular company has in the fleet. I know there's a lot of pride, and a lot of people get very excited about, I'm now diamond, or I'm platinum, or I'm quadruple, whatever those high levels are. And that's
fluffy,
awesome.
sparkly unicorn.
Yeah, that's awesome. If there was a sparkly unicorn level on one of these cruise lines, I would totally be going for that. But I'm all about the experiences and getting on as many cruise lines as I can, because ultimately I don't see a lot of value in the perks that they offer. And then, like as what Carnival's doing, they're blowing up the whole system. They're going to start over, which they can absolutely do. So we're not affected by that. We happen to be elite on Princess only because we've gone on enough Princess cruises, but it's not something that we ever targeted.
If we get perks, fine,
Yeah.
but
I
we're
mean-
not striving for it.
And now that we're travel agents, it's a good thing that we've done so many cruise lines. So we can really help compare and contrast, what are the food experiences like? What are the cabins like? What is everything like on these various ships? So thank you, Darla. That's great. Some people, and you mentioned booking hotels away from city center and very industrial areas. Now, some people are just all about price. And if you want the lowest price hotels, generally those are the ones out by the airport. There's nothing there, especially like Miami. Oh, I would never book a hotel near the airport in Miami. There's literally nothing there.
And Seattle, it's like a half hour from downtown.
Yeah, Seattle's 30 minutes away from the downtown area. So for me, I would rather spend a little bit more, be in the city center. Like For Tony and Jenny B, they have a fantastic Canada New England cruise, which is sailing the same time as our Brilliant Lady one. I picked a hotel in Times Square and actually got a fantastic rate for it. It's less than $400 for 2 nights in Times Square. And the reason why I picked that one was because you can walk out of that hotel and go, walk in any direction. You can hit restaurants, you can go see Broadway shows. Even if you're just going for one night, you could go to TKTS and catch a show that night at 8:00. I'm all about, the experience, but there are a lot of our clients who are just like, we don't care. We just need a place to sleep. We're coming in later. That's also a factor too. Like, what time are you actually going to land? If you're going to land at 10:00 at night, then there's really not much of a reason to go to City Center. Then go ahead and stay by the airport, because you're not going out to dinner that night anyway. Stay by the airport is going to be more convenient. So it's all about, when are you coming in and where are you going to go? So, yeah. So you're welcome, Matt. Annette, what email address do we use to send an email? info@where'swaltertravel or walter@where'swaltertravel. Annette, you're watching us on YouTube right now. So if you go into the description, there's a link to our contact us page. If you want to set up an appointment, where'swaltertravel.com, contact us and you can set up an appointment. My calendar is on there. I try to keep that calendar updated. If we tend to keep Mondays and Thursdays clear, because those are the days that I use to catch up on all the work that I have to do, and certainly being gone for 12 days, even though we were working. Actually, we were gone for 17 days. While we were working, while we were gone, that was a very port intensive cruise. Plus, we had 36 guests on the ship that we wanted to spend time with. I think I spent more time with my guests on that cruise than I have in a very long time. But it was really nice. The 4-hour time difference between Eastern time zone also kind of threw us off. So, hey, Lucia, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in.
And the epic return home.
Yeah, the epic return home. That was fun. So, yeah, SL, my pleasure on recommending food tours. I recommend food tours. Anytime you see a food tour somewhere, I recommend them because, one, you're going to go to places that you would not find on your own most of the time. Like we did one in the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. And I mean, it was all the way on the other side of the island, first of all, from the cruise port. So we never would have gone there, first of all, on our own, just because. And I'm so glad we did, because we found this absolutely beautiful area over there and little mom and pop shops that she took us to. I mean, absolutely no way we would have found any of these places. And the food was delicious.
And they usually give you some history and some information while you're doing the food tour. So
if you're going to Miami, South Beach Food Tour or Miami Culinary Tours, I think it's what they're called. We've done the South Beach Tour. We've done the Wynwood Walls Tour. So even without going to some of the Caribbean islands or some of the ports, just your home port, where you're going to. We're going to do a food tour in Philadelphia before that one. So I think food tours are just fabulous because you're with a local. The local takes you to places that you certainly would not have found. And if you want to go find something in Sitka, in Miami, in the Virgin Islands, in San Juan has a fabulous food tour. You can just simply ask them, hey, I'm looking for this kind of jewelry. I'm looking for a cigar. I'm looking for this kind of hat. I'm looking for this kind of a souvenir. I want to bring this home. They're going to be able to tell you, oh yeah, go down this block and then go over here to this store. They're really great. Tell them I sent you, something like that. So that's the other thing about the food tours too, is that you're almost always with a local who's going to be able to give you information and give you pointers on where to go after it's done that you're simply not going to get. The cruise line is always going to steer you to Diamonds International. They're always going to steer you to the partners that have paid money to tell them to send you to their places. Effie. Oh my God! If I never see another Effie or Diamonds International in my life, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, you will. You will see plenty.
But I will. That's actually one of the cool things about going on Explorer Journeys. They don't have an Effie on that ship. They have really, really, really nice stores that are so much better than Effie that I will not be buying from. So, but yeah. Carol, the hotel that I got, we got a group rate for $392 for 2 nights. That's the total for 2 nights. That's insane, right? This is in Times Square.
I thought it was 1 night.
No, it's $392 for the 2 nights.
Okay.
Yeah. $392 for the 2 nights, and
I thought you were only setting up a 1 night thing, and some people added a second.
No, we got a 2 night deal. So It was $392 for the 2 nights. That was insane. And it's called the Ameritania Hotel. That is not their normal rate. That was something that I was able to get in negotiating with them. And actually, the rates are not bad. The rates are quite good for a hotel in Times Square. It's really good. So yeah, it is a really, really good hotel. Well, now Rebecca has me questioning things. I would have to go back and look. I don't know.
Because I think 392
is what I have in my head.
Is bad, but for one, is unlikely. For one night, though, that's actually in Times Square. That's a good rate. Oh, that's a ridiculous rate. You know what? While we're talking, I'm going to look it up because I can. I can look up. Look up one of my. The food tour in San Juan that we have done is the Flavors of San Juan, and it was amazing. Fabulous. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely fabulous tour. Rebecca has me questioning. And they also have that same company does Flavors of St. Thomas, and I think they might do Flavors of St. Martin as well. Yes. But it was Flavors of. I know there's another food tour company that also is apparently very good, but we did the Flavors of one in San Juan, and we've just enjoyed it so much. We go back when we decide to do a food tour again. Oh no, the 2 nights. Yeah, no, the 2 nights was $782. So I was wrong. It was $392 per night. You're absolutely right, Rebecca. So I just went back to look. I pulled up one of the invoices. So yeah, it was less than $400 for one night. That's what it was. Which for New York Times Square is that's really good. That's really, really good. It's not for a lot of places, but for New York, that's good. I don't like Cindy anymore. Did you see what Cindy just said? I don't like Cindy anymore. I'm not. Oh, to take my side, Cindy. I'm not right 100% of the time. I am, though. I'm always right. Just most of the time. Rebecca's the one that has all the knowledge. So, yeah. So the San Juan food tour. So Flavors of San Juan, they spell it with a U. But if you just simply look up Flavors of San Juan, the other cool thing, they have about 5 different tours. They got a Rum Runners tour. They've got a Ghost tour. They've got other things. But that food tour is phenomenal. They treat it like a 5-course meal, which is kind of cool. So each stop along the way, you're having something different, and it kind of all adds up to a 5-course meal, which is very, very cool. So, Dietary, don't all tour guides have their preferred vendors? However, booking a local, you get different recommendations than the corporate. So the local tour guides obviously will have, and you have to keep in mind too that like when you're setting up a food tour, you can't just take people anywhere. You have to have an agreement with the restaurant to do that, right? So, but with the cruise lines, they don't have the shopping hosts or whatever. They're always going to push you on Diamonds International and this and that. In terms of asking for a recommendation on where to shop, it's just wherever they go. It's usually what they're going to tell you. So of course they're going to have their preferred. Just like you, if I came to your hometown and I said, where should we go to eat? You're going to point to something and say, oh yeah, you really should go here. But it's not like you're getting a kickback. It's because you go there and you really, really enjoy it. So yeah, I find that the local tour guides, especially on the independent tours, they give a lot of great advice, especially with the food tours. Diabetic is Team Rebecca too. Man, I'm just, you guys are like really turning on me now. I'm not liking this. Not liking this at all. It's getting ugly. Honestly, I tell you guys all the time, Rebecca's the one. I'm just a pretty face on camera. Well, I don't even know if I'm that anymore, but I'm the face on camera, and Rebecca is the one that really keeps us all on the straight and narrow. It's why we make a good team. So, and I know, one of the big things about going on these group cruises, everybody's so excited. Are you Rebecca? They all get to meet her for the first time. So I don't know if it's underwhelming when you actually do get to meet her. I'm sure it is. but you guys get to meet her, and it's really one of the only ways you're going to meet her. Unless you come to Orlando. If you're ever coming to Orlando, you guys are always welcome to let us know. And if we've got the time, then it's a 50-50 shot. Yeah. I don't always like to leave my house. Yeah. So we work together very, very well, and between the two of us, we can usually find the answer, the right answer.
So we try. I mean, we try very hard. We're not perfect. We're absolutely not perfect. We're very thankful to all y'all for supporting us. We have grown far beyond anything we ever expected. We're excited now. We have Corey has joined us as our first independent associate. We've got another independent associate that will be joining us by the end of this month. Rebecca.
What?
Can you check? The power is not coming in on the laptop. I just noticed that the power is draining down. Can you check to make sure that's plugged in correctly? That's strange. I don't know what's going on. That's very interesting. Oh, maybe it came apart at the brick. That's interesting.
I don't know.
Okay, now it's working. All right. We almost lost the laptop. Yay. SL said you spent some wasted hours being taken to shopping opportunities when on bus tours. You don't like pressure to buy. The worst of that I think that we've ever had was in St. Kitts, St. Nevis. Something like that.
I can't remember which one. It was one of the islands.
I can't remember if that was an independent tour or a cruise line tour.
It was an independent tour.
But this guy really let's stop with my friend who's got the monkeys. It's only $20 per picture. Oh, let's stop at my friend that had it got annoying. It did get annoying. And that happens from time to time, especially in the Caribbean. I find it's worse in the Caribbean, but and that is annoying and you kind of deal with it. But so far, especially, we haven't had anything like that on a food tour. We have had that on some of the other tours.
But it does seem to happen a lot on the bus tours.
Yeah, on the bus tours, it happens a lot. And, they always dump you, instead of taking you back to the ship, they always dump you at, you gotta exit through the gift shop, right? So, great point by user 274 in Europe. There's a lot of pickpocketing. So in Europe, a lot of people are wearing those cross-body bags. Rebecca's done a lot of research on them, and one of the things that Rebecca highly recommends is you get one that has steel inside the strap so they can't just come up behind you and cut it. Because I guess that's something that they do too. They'll come up behind you, just simply cut the strap and then run off with the bag. But if you've got something that's got steel braiding in it, very difficult to cut that. Right? Yeah. So that's something that we've been researching too.
Although I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yeah. And of course you want to have RFID blockers wherever you are. My wallet has RFID blockers. So, you can't skim. Basically with an RFID scanner, you can just walk right by me and pull off the information from my credit card if you wanted to. But I've got it inside an RFID blocker. And some of the bags, actually, like the whole bag is just an RFID blocker.
And there are also things, belts and kind of neck things that you can wear that go inside your clothing that people are not necessarily aware that you have.
Right.
But, carry as little with you as you possibly can.
Yep.
Because there is always a chance, no matter how careful you are, there's always a chance that someone will take it. And when you're anywhere like eating in a restaurant, never set your phone down on the table. Never.
Yeah. Especially outside.
Yeah.
If you're like in one of those little outdoor trattorias, you put the phone down, somebody just runs by, grabs the phone, and that's it. The phone's gone. So that's very big. And then, that we talk about Europe because it is very prevalent in Europe, but that's everywhere. It can happen in the Caribbean. It can happen in Alaska. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So do that. I have been looking into, you always see those ads where they have clothing, like they have pants that have 10 different pockets on it where you can put stuff just inside the zippered pockets. There are shirts that have inner pockets in them and things like that. So I've been kind of looking at some of that for potentially in Italy as well versus doing the crossbody bag. So yeah, you got to be aware of that everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
And in fact.
And don't bring a big wad of cash.
No. For
sure. Do not. I don't even carry cash around the ship. I see people, one of the big topics of conversation is always tips. And I do see, a lot of people who will take out the $1, they'll take out the $5, literally every single time somebody brings you a drink, every time a bartender makes you something, every time a server shows up. I don't do that. Number one, I don't want to carry cash all around the ship with me. And two, I will tip at the end of the cruise. I'll wait to see, do I have a bartender that I absolutely love that made amazing drinks? Do I have a barista that I absolutely love because they made amazing coffees? I will give that person a tip at the end of the cruise. I won't do it during the cruise. But again, I don't want to. I think that's just a bad habit that a lot of people have gotten into, just thinking, well, if I tip the bartender every single time, you're going to give me better drinks or you're going to give me better service. I've never experienced that. I've never had a problem getting coffee. I've never had a problem getting drinks. I've never had a problem getting good drinks or bad drinks or whatever, so that's just me. That's personal preference. There are a lot of people who just feel like that they should tip for every little thing. I don't. So yeah. Diabetic saying that in Japan, you don't get that same prevalence of theft. Yeah, at least right now. So yeah, that is a good thing. And you always want to close up everything. When you travel abroad, you need to be smarter than just a Caribbean cruise. I mean, even in the Caribbean, you got to be very smart. There's a lot of things in the Caribbean that trip people up, such as camouflage. And then there was one gentleman who, he had like one bullet or a casing or something in his bag. And it's like, oh yeah, you absolutely can't bring munitions in. He ended up in jail. So there's a lot of things you got to pay attention to in the Caribbean as well. Have I heard what's happening with the new port fees in Mexico? Port per stop just once. I know that they've changed it. I can't remember exactly, but they're phasing in that port fee over time. It's now going to be, I think, $5 per port to start with. And then it will go up every year or every couple of years. I think eventually it will get up to that $42 that they really want it to be, or maybe it's going to get up to $35 now. But it is going to go up. It's just not all going up at one time. It's going to go up little by little over a period of years. And if you have already paid your cruise in full, you will be charged that extra tax. Now, some cruise lines may send you a bill before the cruise, but more than likely they will bill you during the cruise. So it'll just appear as a charge on your room. So, but yeah, no, that Mexico port tax is happening. It's just not happening all at once. It's going to be phased in. I want to say they're phasing it in over 5 years or 10 years. I saw the story a while ago. I haven't seen it in a while, but it is still happening. It's just going to be phased in. So that's good for everybody. They still get the taxes that they want. They're just not hitting everybody up with $42 a port right off the bat. So, but port fees are always port fees. So as every time you port in, that tax is going to be applied. Is how that's going to work. So Alex is saying the $5 increase is already in effect. That's what I thought. I thought it was July 1 that went into effect. And then I think next year or the year after, it'll go up to like $10 or something like that. But eventually it's going to cap out. I think they may have dropped it down from 42 to 35, but it is going to get there eventually. It's just not going to get there all at once. So yeah. And, I do like, hopefully the money is actually going to go towards what they say it's going to go to, which is going to help, to beautify and take care of things, which is good. There's a lot of ships coming in. Some of the ports have been a little bit beat up. They're not in the best of shape. So yeah, it will be good. So SL saying that they're going to research crossbody bags that are theft resistant. I mean, you really do. You want to make sure that the straps cannot be cut easily. That is apparently a thing, that they can run up behind you, cut it, and then just keep on going. And of course, you don't want that. So you do want to research that. And then you want to try to find some that either have a RFID pocket inside, or maybe the whole bag is RFID blocker, so that they can't scan your cards. I mean, all you need to do is walk by you. Some people will bump into you with the phone. They touch their phone to your backpack, and now they've got an RFID scanner, so they're just pulling all the information right out of your bag or right out of your pocket. So I've had an RFID blocker wallet for, like 3 or 4 years now. So yeah, it is really good. It is really good. So it's really good to research, and they're really good to have pretty much no matter where you go. So I know we haven't talked a lot about the whole Alaska cruise, we've kind of talked in bits and pieces about it, but I do want to flip up real quick. I want to flip up all of these group cruises because I would love to have you guys come with us. It's my favorite thing about the group cruises is actually getting to meet you. You all see me. I only get a chance to see you, and it is so wonderful. On that cruise, I mean, we spent so much time in Alaska having dinners and having chats and going on excursions with our clients, and it's just so much fun to really get a chance to hang with you guys. So I'm just going to walk you through. All of these cruises are on my website. Go to where'swaltertravel.com, click on group travel, You can see all of the cruises right there. The first one is the Virgin Voyages Brilliant Lady. We're sailing October 3rd through the 16th, 2025. As I mentioned before, 2 people in a balcony cabin plus or minus $3,000. That's the full price for the stateroom. All Virgin Voyages include all meals, basic Wi-Fi, the gratuities, the soft drinks, and group exercise classes. And when I say soft drinks, I mean Coca-Cola products. All the Coca-Cola products are included, plus or minus $2,000 for the stateroom for 2 people in a balcony. This will be a Canada-New England cruise. We're going to start in Quebec. We go to St. John's, Halifax, Eastport, Maine, Boston, Massachusetts. Then the ship will come down the eastern seaboard to Charleston, South Carolina, before ending up in Miami. So it is a Canada-New England cruise. That is also a repositioning cruise for the ship. 13 nights for plus or minus $3,000 for 2 people in a limited view balcony. Then you can get in a central sea terrace, which is $3,500 for the stateroom for 13 nights. All your meals are included, and they are very, very good meals as well. We're going to Italy next year in October of 2026. We're going to be on the Celebrity Constellation. We're getting a nice group is coming together for this one right now. It is a 10-day cruise. Now, the group rates are for the all-included package. So if you book the cruise with the all-included package, my rates are up to $2,500 less than the current Celebrity rates. And this is because I locked in the rates about 8 months ago. So in fact, my rates in some cases are less than just the standard rate. So this is leaving from Ravenna, which is about 3 hours outside of Venice. This is the Venice port for the big ships because they can't come in anymore. But we're going to start in Ravenna. We're going to go to Split, Dubrovnik, Kotor, Messina, Salerno, Portofino, La Spezia, and Civitavecchia. That will be the 10-day group cruise. And then if you want to stay on the ship, the next sailing from November 2nd through the 17th is a transatlantic coming across the San Juan. There's 2 stops in Spain, 1 stop in Morocco, 1 stop in St. Martin, and then we end up in San Juan. So then we can just fly home from San Juan versus flying back from Italy. So again, October 23rd through November 2nd, 2026, that's on the Celebrity Constellation. Our rates are up to $2,500 less for the stateroom than they are on Celebrity's website right now. If you'd like to go to Hawaii with us, we're doing a round trip Hawaii cruise from Los Angeles in February of 2026. It's going to be February 4th through the 20th. 10 sea days, 5 sea days getting out, 5 sea days coming back. It's going to be like a transatlantic cruise, but round trip instead of one way. So we leave on February 4th from Los Angeles. We'll go to Honolulu, Hilo, Kahului, Kauai, and then, of course, we've got to go to Ensenada because we're required to do that. That's February 4th through the 20th of 2026. Rebecca and I are going to be booking most likely Pixar Place in Disneyland to spend a few days in Disneyland. Hotels are still not up, but some of our guests have already booked the Queen Mary, which is awesome. They're going to stay in a cruise ship before they go on the cruise. I think that's amazing. I love it. So if you'd like to join us, that's going to be on the Emerald Princess, February 4th through the 20th, 2026. Again, all of these are on my website, where'swaltertravel.com, group travel. You can come join us. And of course, our good friends, Tony and Jenny B. They have 2 group cruises right now that we are booking. We are their official travel agency partner with La Lita Loca. And every booking that you make through us, if you're referred by Tony and Jenny B, a portion of our commission goes to help support their channel and everything they're doing. So it's just an amazing partnership. But the first cruise is going to be the very first ship to sail out of Philadelphia in a couple of decades. It's going to be the Norwegian Jewel sailing out on April 16th, 2026 through the 23rd. We're calling it the La Lita Loca Triangle because we're going to go from Philadelphia. We're going to go spend an overnight in Bermuda. Then we're going to come across to Charleston before we come back up. This will be a 7-night cruise. There will be group activities. There are currently over 200 people booked on this one. So if you want to do a big group cruise with Tony and Jenny B, this is the one. April 16th through the 23rd, 2026. And then in October, while we're on the Brilliant Lady, Tony and Jenny B are hosting a really nice group on the Enchanted Princess. What a beautiful, beautiful ship. This will be October 11th through the 18th of 2025. You're going to go to New York, Newport, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, Portland, Maine, St. John's, New Brunswick, and Halifax, Nova Scotia before coming back to New York City. So this is a round trip New York City, It is just an absolutely beautiful ship, October 11th through the 18th. So if you want to do a traditional Canada-New England cruise, Tony and Jenny B are doing that one. And we will be talking about future groups soon with them. They want to get through the October cruise before we start planning more groups with them. Phil and Sue were saying it was so nice being part of a group. You really enjoyed meeting and hanging out together as much or as little as you wanted. And that's the whole thing about a group cruise. Not like we're all joined at the hip, but we had a couple of planned activities. We just had a couple of planned dinners and one major planned activity, and that was it the rest of the time, because one, we were on the Oceania Riviera, which was a new ship for most people, and two, we were in Alaska. We just wanted our group to go and enjoy. And that's the same thing even with Tony and Jenny B. While there will be 200 people, there will be planned activities. You can join as much or as little as you want to. We even have the group hotels right now in Philadelphia and New York. In Philadelphia, we are planning a couple of things. In New York, we didn't, but in Philadelphia, we're going to put together a food tour, as we've been talking about, and a history tour. So we're going to be there for 2 days. Tony, Jenny B, myself, and Rebecca are all going to be flying in on Monday, which I think is April 13th. We're going to spend 2 days exploring Philadelphia, and then we'll get on the ship April 16th. So if you guys want to join us or join Tony and Jenny B for any of these group cruises, some of you have already been asking what's coming next. I can tell you the only one for sure that we know is coming next will be around the first week of December in 2027. That is going to be a Christmas Markets River Cruise. That will either be on AMA Waterways or Avalon Waterways. We're just waiting for the schedules to drop. And so it'll be after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas. So you'll be able to be home for the holidays. That is the next one for sure that is coming. We're kind of thinking of a little something else, but that we know for sure. Alex wants to know, are we planning to do anything important? Nope, we have absolutely no plans because there are going to be so many group activities on board the ship that in Bermuda right now, we have absolutely no plans to do a group. We just want everybody to go off and do their own thing. As of right now, I don't think Tony and Jenny B are going to plan a group excursion in Bermuda or Charleston. I don't think so. That could change. But because we've got, I think, 3 sea days, so there's going to be a lot of time. There's going to be a lot of opportunity to plan group activities. That I don't think we're going to plan anything important. The only thing that we're planning important is in Philadelphia itself. Is what I think is going to happen because we have so many people coming in. I think we have the potential for up to 60 people staying in Philadelphia. Because there are a lot of people actually from the local area that are going to be driving in. They're just so excited. They have a driving port now. But I think we have around 60 to 70 people that may be staying in Philly for the full 3 days or 2 days. I'm going to talk to the food tour company and the history tour company. What we might do is kind of like split the group. So we might do a food tour and a history tour on both days where like half the group will go do the food tour today and then half the group do the food tour tomorrow. And then same with the history tour. So because you don't want the group to be too big, you want it to be smaller. So,
and there's still going to be time for you to do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because these tours
That's
will probably be a half day.
Exactly. So we'll do like a half day tour. Like you'll do a half day tour on the first day, you'll do a half day tour on the second day, but then you've got all the rest of the time to do your own thing. But in terms of the ports on the group, I don't think we're going to have any planned group excursion because we want y'all just to go off and do your own thing.
And it's such a big group. It will be.
Yeah, it's over 200 people. It'll be very tough. It'd be very tough to pull that together. So Sue Carnes is recommending a Travel-On crossbody bag. It has a steel cable in the shoulder strap and locks on the zippers. Best travel purse you have ever bought. You had me until you said purse. So no, I'm just kidding. No, that's great. Thank you, Sue. Really, really appreciate that.
Travel-On's a well-known company for this sort of thing.
I just noticed I've been more or less out of focus this entire show. Sorry, guys.
You were in
I
focus.
probably look better out of focus anyway. I see that the trees are in perfect focus behind me. So
you were in focus when I did it.
I don't know. I can tell right now looking at it.
I think when you were messing with the camera.
No, I didn't touch anything with the camera after you focused it.
Yes, you did because it
I
went down.
just put the cable in. Yeah. So, but whatever. I probably look better in soft focus than I do focus. You know,
enjoy
the lines go away. So yeah. All right, guys. So it's just about 12 noon on the East Coast, which means I've got a meeting coming up within the hour We set up our first meetings at 1 o'clock. So I'll just remind you that I am Walter with Where's Walter Travel. We book your land, cruise, luxury expedition. And if there's anything that we can do to help you in your future travel, please do reach out. We'd love to help you. As I say all the time, our services are 100% free to you. We do not charge any fees. We don't charge a planning fee. We don't charge a cancellation fee. I mean, cancellations are part of life, right? Things happen, things change. So we don't charge you anything at all for our services. I mean, in part because the state of Florida doesn't allow us to, but even if we were allowed to charge fees, we wouldn't, because that's just the way it was for us for almost 20 years working with another travel agent. And now we're travel agents ourselves. So,
and just one addendum, we don't charge a cancellation fee, but there are some fees from cruise lines.
Oh, no, the cruise lines will, but we won't.
Yes.
We won't. No. But you're always subject to the terms and conditions of our travel partners, as we always say. So folks, so thank you so much for taking some time on a Sunday with us. Thursday, I don't know if I have somebody planned, but I'll let you guys know if we're going to be back on Thursday night with YouTube. But we will I be back next Sunday? I'm traveling to Cleveland next Sunday.
Yes,
Going to the cruise
your
capital of the
travel
world next Sunday. So we won't be back next Sunday morning. We might be Sunday evening. I might do a live from Cleveland. You never know. But folks, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon. I'll let you guys know. But have a great rest of your Sunday wherever you are. Thanks so much for tuning in.